who are flexible and willing to work on a lot of different things. There's certain IT professions, they only like to do one thing. In my group, they have to be able to be comfortable doing DBA work, system administration work, but then simple help desk work. So it's willingness to learn how to be flexible and how to communicate. Okay?
Yeah. How did you enculturate into your workplace community? Was it smooth? Were there challenges? Was your enculturation immediate, or did it take time? Is your enculturation still in process? So, as different technology is advancing, obviously you're going to have to learn to use different things, and, you might have to be taught how to use new systems. But for, in the beginning, to be enculturated into your workplace, was it kind of easy? Was it not? Like, how did that go?
Well, my culture is a little different because in getting so I worked for a large company and then going down to a smaller company, the culture goes from really formal to informal. But now my small company is getting bigger, so we're now going the opposite way of
You're shifting
again from a very much informal to trying to formalizing communications, formalizing, and actually just in essence developing our own culture, like a very much a small culture, business culture into a more enterprise, established company level culture.
For me, when I joined my group, I'd say it took me 6 months to get comfortable, to understand how the teams worked together and how the different people interacted with each other in the group. But doing my job, I didn't have any problem. It was just learning the personalities on the team and how to interact with the different people.
How is it possible that newcomers to your particular workplace could enter as more experienced or at higher level than members who have been there longer? How can they function or operate with the discourse used in your workplace? So let's say someone who is younger, who's applying for a job there, gets the job compared to someone who has been working there for a longer time. How could they particularly have more a set of skills than someone else working there to get the job instead of someone else? Is there like something specific that the job would say, oh, he has but he doesn't, that would make them be considered first for the job?
Yeah, for me, the technology is so much different where, it's not based on just years experience or, so I can have somebody who can support emails that's been here at my company for 5 years, but then somebody who's worked on the newer technology that I'm going to for 2 years, I would have the person with the 2 years experience in Exchange 2013 is more valuable than my guy who's had worked on other forms, other versions of the email server. So technology shifts all the time. For us, it's not where you stay. Just because you stay there for a long time means you know more than somebody else coming in. It depends on the technology.
I don't think in my work situation it matters one way or the other. You just have to know what the DBAs and the SAs need to know what they're doing. As a project manager, as long as you know how to interact with people on a regular basis and what's important and what's not important and when you should be able to escalate things. If you're good at project management, it shouldn't matter how long you've been doing it. Is more project management, I think, is more where you have to have been doing it for a number of years to be able to come right into a group. You can't be right entering the workforce and say you're a good project manager because you've never been one.
Okay. Why do you think what I'm learning from you about discourse communities could be valuable or useful to me as a college student and a developing writer who most likely isn't going to be entering your particular workplace? Community.
I'd say what you gotta learn is that you gotta learn your audience and who you're writing to. What
Yeah.
you're trying to communicate and at what level the person is that's going to be reading what you're writing. If it's something where it's a more informal communication, then probably how your generation talks to each other would be fine. But if you're writing something that a professor or someone in the administration is going to read, you're going to want to be more precise in your style and also in the way you communicate what you're trying to get your point across.
Right. So just invaluable just to have the awareness that there are different communities and different variations on discourse, so that then there with the knowledge that each community is a little different, and there's different methodologies or different goals and different ways to be effective. Just to be able to not identifying knowledge is just knowing that you don't know something is more valuable than just not realizing that there's many different ways to communicate. Is like the key learning experience here that you know even in nursing or in IT, there's different ways that people are communicating, and you have to know the audience, and you have to know the goals of that audience, and how to there may be different ways to be effective with that audience, and you can shift your writing accordingly.
Okay.